Hello, if you are new around here, my name is Miriam and I talk about climate change on the internet. But mostly, I talk about climate change here on YouTube. I'm mad about a lot of things, like all the time, not the least of which is climate change, but pretty high up there is this. This is just an example of one of many videos that pop up next to mine in the recommended tab or that almost always visually upsetting grid thumbnail thing at the end of videos. I work pretty hard to make these videos as factual as possible and fun and interesting, hopefully. And it really blows to see this nonsense propaganda and straight up lies popping up at the end of one of my videos. Sometimes it makes me question if this is even the right platform to be making this stuff. And in case you were curious, turns out I'm not just paranoid. AVAAZ, a nonprofit looking to protect democracies from the dangers of disinformation on social media, oh boy, have they got an uphill battle. Released this report. You can read all this if you want, but the highlights are AVAAZ found 16 of the top 100 up next videos for the search term global warming had misinformation about climate change. For the search term climate change, a little bit better, 8 of 100. And for climate manipulation, which is a dog whistle if I've ever heard one, 21 of 100. The methodology they use is a bit confusing and has some relevant critiques, which we can talk about in the comments. But the major takeaway here is that there is a lot of climate misinformation that is being promoted, despite YouTube statements that they are suppressing misleading content. Misinformation about climate change is a lot of syllables to basically say lies and propaganda. Misinformation about climate change, lies and propaganda. AVAAZ is perhaps a bit more tactful with their wording in the report, but when you're talking about things like Nobel laureate smashes the global warming hoax, a 30-minute long video with more than 1.7 million views, which includes such highlights as accusations that NASA is fiddling with data by including ocean temperatures, and actually there really isn't that much CO2 in the atmosphere anyway, so let's not worry about it. These aren't just accidental fact slip-ups. So I just want to call them out for what they really are: willful and harmful, misleading propaganda, oftentimes motivated by economic and political gain. Yes, that is more syllables than climate misinformation. There are two reasons this is bad. One, many of the videos AVAAZ highlighted have been viewed a lot of times. That is a bunch of people being lied to. Aside from being morally bad, we should be telling the truth about what is happening to the world so more people have the understanding and tools to respond in the way that they see fit. Two, the people spreading misinformation and YouTube are all making money lying to people. I don't really know how best to explain how bad that is beyond just capitalism sucks, support the good guys. But there is something a bit evil going on when spreading outright harmful lies makes you money. This is one of the main avenues AVAAZ suggests at combating this from the outside. For YouTube and these creators to make money off of climate misinformation, an advertiser is paying for it. Whether the companies just don't realize or don't care about the kind of content their ads are playing against doesn't really matter. What does matter, and we've seen effective in previous campaigns, is the public calls them out for advertising on unsavory stuff. So if, say, you wanted to publicly let some companies know that they're funding climate denial, AVAAZ made a nice little list for you that I will present here as well. Do with it as you will. YouTube has said they've tried to fix some of these issues. They're supposedly repressing harmful content, and they've added that info box down there, and anecdotally, I have seen it get a bit better. I'm not noticing quite so many PragerU or fossil fuel propaganda videos in my recommendations or searches as I used to. That being said, I'm not sure how much of it is changes YouTube has made, or just more people making and watching videos about climate change, or something else entirely. If anyone has good data on this, I would love to talk to you. Deal dear, this report is pretty bad news bears, and comes on the heels of a bunch of other reports investigating how the YouTube platform is an incubator for some seriously scary stuff. AVAAZ does make quite a few recommendations for YouTube on how to solve this. They want YouTube to detox their algorithm by removing any climate misinformation videos from their recommendation algorithms, and include climate misinformation in YouTube's borderline content policy. If you don't speak weird YouTube jargon, borderline content is supposedly content that, while not great, isn't quite bad enough to be removed because it doesn't violate YouTube's terms of service. Along with that, AVAAZ says YouTube should demonetize climate misinformation videos. Basically, just don't put ads on them. And while on paper those sound not unreasonable, to me these recommendations feel a bit naive. Even if YouTube wanted to do something, I'm not sure how they could. There are a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of bad ones, and frankly, I don't trust the YouTube overlords, or more accurately, programs they write to recognize misinformation, to know enough about climate science to recognize anything but the most blatant cases of anti-science propaganda. We're just starting to see many new and good creators talking about their experiences in a climate-changed world, and I don't want another adpocalypse to crush that wave. AVAAZ also says YouTube should attempt to correct the record and work with independent fact checkers to inform users when they've been lied to. I think that might be a way to make the box that's down there a little bit less useless, although there is a lot of research showing debunking isn't really an effective strategy, unfortunately. Reports like these really affirm to me how bad it is that we're living in an advertisement-supported world. Ads are just so bad. But I guess that's a topic for another video. There is still a lot of good stuff out there, and unfortunately what I'm seeing when everyone's talking about this report from AVAAZ is that YouTube is just a cesspool full of garbage, which, don't get me wrong, it totally is. But I swear, there's a lot of stuff that I love to watch, so I'm going to leave links in the doobly-doo below to climate change and environmentally thoughtful channels that will not mislead you on the science or the responses. Thanks so much for watching. Let's chat downstairs. Bye.